Welcome to the bright side of 50. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of the bright side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Hi. You get to see my face today. I think the last couple of episodes, maybe this is the last episode. Well, the last 3 Minute Thursdays and the last full episode, they were audio only. So I'm back today. Hi. Hey, boo. Hey. All right. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So it's important that we talk about that here on the podcast. I specifically want to talk about intimate partner violence because I think that it's a topic that isn't talked about enough. And I have experienced the loss of a friend from intimate partner violence. Never in my life did I think that I would experience that. She wasn't like a close friend, but she was a friend for sure. And intimate partner violence is sexual violence, physical, psychological. Anybody can experience it. It doesn't look a certain way. The person doesn't look like whatever you imagine a person in a domestic violence situation or intimate partner violence situation would look. But it happens. And let me tell you specifically about this friend of mine who passed away violently during the pandemic. She was a beautiful woman. She was in her 40s. She was a boss. When I say a boss, this lady was a boss. Very influential. She worked at a big corporation. I'm trying to keep the details as loose as possible because the case is still ongoing. And the person who did this to her is, he still has to go to trial. So I don't want to talk too many specifics about this. But anyway, she was a very powerful woman, worked for a big corporation. And she was dating somebody that she worked with. Not only was she a boss, the man was a boss. Like these were two very, very successful individuals, And them being paired together, it just wasn't anything that I thought. I thought that they were just colleagues. I just thought they were just two very successful African-American, high net worth individuals who worked for a huge corporation and they were just bossing it out and handling their business. That's just what I thought about both of them. And then to learn about this is just incredibly sad and shocking. I knew him, but not like knew him, but I knew him. I had met him a few times. Like I said, she was a friend of mine, not him, but they did work together. And I had no idea that this woman was going through anything like that. There were no signs that I could see that she was going through something like this. There was no, she didn't look scared. She looked happy. She was a mom. She had 2 kids, one kid in college, another kid who actually worked for the same company. You wouldn't think that was the case. Right before the pandemic, we went to an event. She invited me to an event. We went to an event and we were having a good time. And then that person showed up at the event. And I could see that something different happened with her. Her whole countenance changed when this person came. She couldn't eat. She said she wasn't feeling well. She looked scared. Like I just didn't know like what was happening. And I was like, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just not feeling well." I was like, "Okay." She had her really, really good girlfriends there and they were seeing about her and all of that. But something was off. And come to find out, this was the person who is going to be on trial for murdering her violently. again, I'm saying these words very loosely because I just don't know where this case is, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. But she was violently murdered in her home. And it is said that this person stayed overnight after the murder, beat her, black and blue. Some other very violent things happened, and then left the next day. And she was found in the house by a relative. By a relative. This poor woman died so violently by somebody she was in a relationship with. I wanted to tell that story because if you're close friends with somebody and you start to see signs that are strange, that are outside of their character, how you know them, you start to see signs, you start to notice how people may act different when certain people come around. Like, I just feel like we need heightened awareness about these things. And we can say to that person, I'm here for you, right? If there's anything you want to talk about, I won't judge. We can get help together. I just want you to know that the door is always open for you to come and have a conversation whenever, whatever time. Let me know what's going on. It's important for people to know that somebody's there for them. Somebody will be there for them. This tends to happen. I was reading a little bit about intimate partner violence as it relates to women over 40, 45. Sometimes it escalates when there are major transitions in a person's life. For example, becoming an empty nester. Maybe somebody showed little signs that things would get bad or could get bad, potential, very volatile situations, and then the kids move out. So once the kids move out, what I was reading, there's no one there to see anything. There's no witnesses. The person can hide the bruises and all of that, keeping the person home for a while until they've healed up. So that's the thing. And then there's a lot of embarrassment and shame that comes with that. And so the person doesn't report what's happening to them. It can also happen if someone gets sick, right? So if the person gets sick and then the person who's the perpetrator starts to, hey, sis, hey, I just wanted to take a moment to ask you, have you subscribed to The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer? If you have not, could you please take a moment, if you like the podcast, take a moment now to hit the subscribe button so that you become a subscriber, turn on your notifications so that you're notified when a new episode drops, okay? Also, follow me on Instagram. I am The Bright Side of 50 over there on Instagram too. Thank you so much. Now let you get back to the episode. They start to be annoyed that they have to take care of that person, and then the violence can escalate then. And there's also times when the violence comes on or escalates when the person loses a job or is not working and the perpetrator is the main provider. And so that person is dependent upon that person for their livelihood. And so they don't say anything. Sometimes they're threatened with their life. They're threatened with other, forms of physical harm. And so there's just so many layers to this, and there's so much shame that comes with this. And I often hear people say about domestic violence victims, why don't they just leave? If we've never been in a situation like that, then we don't know why people don't just leave. It's very layered. There's a lot of shame that comes with it. It's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of childhood trauma that comes with it. So we don't know. And it's not fair for us to make judgment calls or to say, well, they should have just left. Maybe they couldn't just leave. The purpose of this particular episode, though, is for us to be on heightened awareness in what's going on with our friends. And this is not just something that happens with women. Of course, it happens way more with women statistically than it does with men, but men experience it too. There are women who physically and mentally abuse their partners. It happens. So let's just pay attention. Let's be aware when people's countenance, their mood, everything changes when, certain people are around. Ask questions. And again, promise them that you're not going to judge and you're going to just be someone who listens and you're going to try to figure it out together. Okay. I wish I could bring my girl back. Wish I could. It still makes me sick to my stomach to just think about what happened to that beautiful, beautiful soul. But it happens. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. All right. Let's be aware. Let's do our research. Again, let's be that person that your friend can come to if they are going through something as terrible as DV or IPV, intimate partner violence. There's help. There's help for those people. It has to be so terrifying to be in a situation where you're being abused and you're being threatened and you're so terrified and ashamed to come forward with what's happening with you. And this happens way more than you think. And it happens with some of your most beautiful, affluent couples, people you think just really have it going on and you calling it couples goals. Y'all, people are being abused. So that's why it's important for us not to be envious and important for us to just be that friend, be somebody who's very attentive with what's going on. Be the person that they can come to. All right. Difficult conversation to have today, but I did want to do this episode because it's important. And like I said, I never thought anybody close to me would experience this and die by it, especially somebody like her. Like never, ever would I have guessed. All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you know of any situations like this that, you may be aware of, and be careful about the way you go about getting involved. You also want to make sure that you're safe. I did see recently that the man who is the accused perpetrator of doing this to my friend, he was out. He wasn't in jail. I think he just got picked up for something else. They do it once, they're going to keep doing it. I feel like people like that would not just do it to their person. They would also do it to other people who got involved. So be careful about the way that you get involved. Don't turn a blind eye. Just be careful how you support your friend, but be there for them. Okay? All right. I'll see you on the next episode of The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.